Hello, wild ones. Let's talk about how we find inspiration. And for me, a lot of the times I'm running to my local library. I love librarians. I love my local library, and I have a library haul. I find I don't like to keep a lot of on-hand books. I know some artists have really large libraries. I'm not that human. This, though, I've checked out maybe 5 times from my library over the past couple years. This is from Batsford Press. Shelley Rhodes is the author, and Fragment and Repair is the name. Discover the rich creative possibilities of fragmentation and repair in your textile arts. Celebrated artist Shelley Rhodes explores a huge range of innovative approach using techniques from piercing and devour to patching and darning. Beautifully illustrated with inspiring examples of work from the author and leading contemporary artists. So very true and so very good. What is inspiring me right now from her is Devour, where she takes and ages these pieces in ways and finds like how far can you go. The discovery is really interesting. I'm in the midst of putting together a class with eco dyeing as one of my main themes, and I just really love the idea of burying and putting outside and making unwhole to then have fragments to work with. And I find myself really attracted to these long format pieces, and that's where I'm at right now. So I love her Punched Hole series too. I really, it's that shape, that long kind of scroll-like shape that is making me so happy. This book is totally worth a read. That would be a book I would actually bring into my house and store, but for now, I have a local library. Why store it when I can just check it out? This is a new book to me. If you can cut, you can collage. I'm gonna grab another one in this stack that is interesting because I work both in paper and fabric. So I also have art quilt collage, and all these little stickers are things I'm gonna make copies of. I do have a book, a fabric book that I put library book pages in that I really feel like I need to have for long-term reference. Holly Chastain is the author, and Query is the publisher, and her work is really interesting. She does, I love this page on balance, that little man holding up how do you balance things in collage, and asymmetric and symmetric balance. It's a really clean, clear approach. It's not work that I would necessarily do. That piece behind me should tell you. But it has some really great conceptual moments. So there's that one, and then there's this art quilting collage book by Deborah Boschert. And this is CT Publishing, C&T, and my dog's coming in. So this art quilt collage book I've checked out many times, and it is one of those books that is phenomenally interesting to read through again and again. And when I'm getting ready to teach a collage class or go back into collage work, I really recheck in with this book. Some of the best work and descriptions I've ever seen of creating different types of design. Grid, symmetrical, third plus, which is the golden rule. But her work is so inspiring. It's not something I need on my shelf, but it's something I really, really want to check in with. So I just have it in my favorites list. I keep a list on my phone, and I keep a list in the back of most of my sketchbooks on books that I really want to check out. This is a new book to me, Ray Dunn, In Pursuit of Inspiration, by Chronicle Books. Really, really beautiful book. This is kind of about daily painting, daily sketching. I talk about making, having collections. I love it when a book just is lush and beautiful. I love this idea of creating a cutout watercolor each day and putting it in a month format. I've heard a lot of this, but I liked hearing it from their perspective. I love that their muse was their puppy, so similar to my house. And they talked about travel. Yeah, it's a really beautiful book. So, In Pursuit of Inspiration, trust your instincts and make more art. Another collage book. I'm obviously getting ready to do some collaging. Storytelling with Collage, Roxanne Evans Stout. Techniques for layering color and texture. This is a Northlight book, so this is a very old book. I think 2006. I found it very, very interesting. I took a lot of notes out of this book, and what was interesting to me is how little collage has changed. I loved how she has her piece that she's working on, her stamps she's made, her little kind of found object pieces, and how they all work together. And is this the one? Yeah. Today on my work table. I love her ritual of like setting up something almost like a tray of inspiration. And it's something I wrote down to think about for my week coming up, where I'm taking off for a week and going to a very intense art making adventure. So I want to maybe have a altar, for a better word, a inspiration creative altar set up that I can glance at in the morning, or maybe spend some time meditating on. Collage workshop for kids, Shannon Merenstein. Rip, snip, cut, and create with inspiration from the Eric Carlisle Museum of Picture Book Arts. I immediately put that on my travel list. It's in Amherst, Massachusetts, here in the States, and I really liked this. I'm getting ready to teach a younger kids art making / fabric making workshop. Well, actually full year education next year, and this one feels so good for that. So I know I'm going to check this out again over the summer when I'm a little closer, but the fabric cape was the one that really stood out to me as a subject matter I wanted to hit. The Quilter's Field Guide to Color, Rachel Hauser. Just the cover itself, so inspiring, so beautiful. I loved some of her charts in here for color. One of them I've never done when laying out my paints is like, think about like the different seasons, spring, summer, autumn, winter, and the different colors of blue, pink, green, neutral. within that season. What a great idea. Amazing. Her work on exploring neutrals and really talking about color in such a different way, and how quilters are working with pattern as part of their color choices. Okay, my next book in my stack is The Artist Manual, and it is everything you could want to see from A to Z, drawing materials and techniques and painting. And it's 1996. It's an older book by Chronicle. Angela Gair, Gair, is the editor. And why I wanted to look at this is I had a question about a very particular brush name, and I couldn't find it anywhere. It was called a rigger. I just couldn't remember it. But what I loved about this book was these amazing, it's very similar to one of the collage books with what's on my desk. These are obviously much more detailed, but every chapter heading has this collection of materials within a wooden frame, and wow, what a beautiful way to present it. I just love the look of this book, the curio cabinet style photography in this book, and I was just inspired to figure out, like, what would that look like in my own space? And if it's inspiring to me in a book format, it probably would be inspiring in my practice. And that's why I like to do a lot of checkout books. There's no way I would buy that book, but the collection box photos are so inspiring. So when I'm taking notes on a book, I write the name of the book, the author, and who was the publishing house. And because for me, I was wondering about brushes, I went through and wrote all the names of the brushes, did a little tiny sketch, and then talked about the sizes of brushes. The 12-inch round is one of my favorites, and I love a hockey brush and a mop brush. I like big brushes more than anything else. But for me, my little sketchbook, this actually came from the King County Library System, and it's my demo and learning books. So I keep all my demo notes in here, but I also, anytime I read an artist book that I take notes on, it goes in my current learning book. And that's my current one. It was free. I was very excited about it. Sketch Your Stuff, 200 Things to Draw. It was pretty good. John Stitch, or I guess it's Stitch without the T. Stich. And Query is the publisher. And it's a beautiful book. Incredibly detailed drawings. I love how he stepped through his house. So he talked to, each chapter was like in the kitchen, in the study, in the grocery store, in the fridge. Also, the puppy pages are just the ones that totally make me melt. It reminds me that I need to draw my puppies way more often. And I loved this vignette of things just in his garage window. It reminded me of my my grandmother's garage, and how in Ohio it had this like very interesting smell, and just the old buckets full of screws and stuff. Very, very cool. Tamara Laporte, Create Your Life book. Another collage book. Collage kind of focused on personal growth. I've done a lot of work there. An art book for me is a place to really go deeper and really envision and get to things. I loved her work. Very beautiful. And I love some of her projects. I actually took I'm going to take a couple of pages out of here to put in my project book when I'm looking for something to do in my art journal. And one of them is I count your blessings, cultivate gratitude for a happy life. And I love this page warden idea, protecting your creative journey with page wardens. Right now I'm doing 100 faces, so I wanted to think about page wardens or creative wardens, creative helpers who help me protect my craft. The other pages I love to take a photograph of or a copy of are the resource pages where you can kind of very quickly get a list of keywords. Those always are really helpful for me. And when I do take a photo, when I go into the library and make some copies, one thing I'm always looking for is how I translate that into actual work. So I make sure I keep a good note. I always bring a pen with me because usually they don't have a pen there, to write down what book each section came from. And then I have a whole binder that just exists with just pictures of projects I've either done and if I've done them, I usually try to put a copy of my findings, what I learned when I went through the process. I love to keep, this is the life book page. There's that detailed information. I love to keep the quotes out of that book. And then if there's a website or somewhere to go deeper, I love to keep that. And then if I have any ideas of my own that I want to capture as I'm reading through the book, I'll always put a star on either side of that, because that means that came from me, not from the author, and I want to go deeper there. And then finally, 1,000 artist journal pages. Don DeVire's Sokol. Personal pages and inspiration. Really neat book. Super cool cover. 1,000. Although when it came to me, it was all torn up here and very hard to manage to read. Corey's the producer, so I just went in with some washi tape and a little bit of glue and fixed it. I think that's okay. Not sure if I should have done that, but I really want this book to survive and that cover to survive. So just giving it a little love felt appropriate. This book goes pretty quickly into just pages and pages of people's journals, and it is lush. I really wanted to pull out a local favorite, a person that I've met a couple times, and oh my gosh, I wish her so much health and love. Tisha and Tracy Moore, an incredible art journaler. Whew, her work, no matter what it is, just inspires the heck out of me. So I really wanted to make sure I highlighted her, but loved this book, a book that I could easily check out multiple times. Something else I'm always looking at are the other recommendations, and often I'll just look on my library app and see if I can put them on hold if it's something I'm interested in. I hope that was a fun and inspiring trip to the library. The 745 to 746 Dewey Decimal System just lights me up in any library I walk into. And really, how do you create a body of knowledge? I'm not gonna go get an MFA anytime soon, but I feel like my local library provides me the opportunity to stretch and reach out into many different artists' lives and keep connected. Just like YouTube does, just like Instagram does, but in a more slow way. I love reading a book, putting on some music and reading a book at night. It just makes me super happy. I hope, wild ones, you get out there and create. Take care of yourself and each other.